I'm just practicing my golf swing.
Might as well hit one more.
All right, hold on. Let me finish this. Hole up real quick.
Go ahead and show me what you got.
All right, let's see.
I thought this was a joke. I think I can put him on the team. I don't know. What you guys think?
I don't know, man.
I don't know. I just think I overshot the hole.
I look like
I think I hit an alligator.
I think you shanked. So, guys,
all right.
We got Coach James Shilling on the podcast today, the longest coach at Nicholls State University, and he is the head golf coach. Some people call him the legend, I hear.
I wouldn't say that, but it's. I would say this. I will say this for sure. Thank you for having me. This is a fantastic setting, and it will be a real treat for anyone else that's on the podcast after me.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that a lot.
You know, I always like hearing that. Though.
I know,
It's kind of funny because look, we always doubted ourselves. Like when we were like, man, I don't know, is this? You know, you see everybody, big names, kind of doing podcasts, and it's like, oh,
right.
Are we on the right path?
Right. No, and I think. Well, I don't think I know. I think what we have going on with this is it gives every coach, no matter what your specialty is or whatever you're kind of dabbling in or doing, whether it's and what you're using your program. For me, it's golf to promote and help other people or do whatever you can to stay positive. It gives us an avenue to communicate with people.
Absolutely.
That maybe you don't always get. One of the biggest things that's changed throughout my career has been how quickly we can receive and send information. Right, that's been the biggest thing that's changed.
So, I want you to touch base on that just to give the viewers more of an explanation, because we do have some younger viewers in here, right?
Absolutely.
And so they're not going to understand what you mean by that. So,
right.
I'm gonna give a little bit of background and correct me if I'm wrong, right? So, but what you're basically saying is I guess whenever you started coaching, you say you started coaching in 1998, was it?
That is correct.
So it was
98. Yes.
So you started coaching in 1998, and I'm guessing at that time emails wasn't really even a thing, or was it a thing? Yeah, it just came out. Yeah,
kind of just starting. So in some of your college classes, you were starting to deal with that. I can tell you this: we did not have cell phones.
So no cell phones.
So cell phones were
pagers.
Take it back. Executives had cell phones, like the brick phones that you'd have in your car, like the oil field.
Oh,
yeah.
The old bag phone.
The
My
old
dad
bag
had a
phone.
bag phone.
Well, no,
Exactly.
a bag phone,
A bag
or
phone.
in the cars, they used to put the phones in the cars too at some point
They
too.
would put the phones in the cars. I can remember the days when I was at working as a kid growing up at golf courses, and we would have oil field related golf tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
And you always knew that it was an oil field type car because they would hook the phones to the horn on the car, and the horn would start going off, which meant that they had a call coming in.
Right.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
That's old now.
That's pretty cool.
That's old.
That's funny. Though.
So that's definitely dating myself, but I don't mind doing that.
No,
at
look.
all. But so for a person like me to be here, this is exciting because for you guys or for this generation, okay, this is just something else that we do. Well, for me, it's something different.
Right.
It's the next thing. It's the next step in life.
It's the next step, and it's if you're not learning, you're not getting better.
Right.
I mean, that's the bottom line, right there.
And then that's also, I feel like it gives y'all a good platform to really hone in on what y'all are doing and what y'all want to do with the programs that y'all running. Like one main thing you just kind of commented on, you love to help people. So with that being said, let's get into this first big subject on what you got going. Is you're the longest coach at Nicholls. You've been here for a long time.
Yes.
The longest more than anyone, even more than how you just said, Coach Rebo, even though he's a little bit older than you.
Yes.
Tell us why you've been here and what's the reasons for you staying and being so loyal to Nicholls State.
Yeah. So originally, I'm not from this area. I am from the Lafayette area, which is not that far away. So you're still a similar culture. But things are different in the Lafayette area compared to, I would say, the Bayou region or specifically Houma, Thibodaux type area.
Right.
It's the topography is different, the land is different. We're a bit more diversified now, but especially in the Houma area, where oil field related, a lot of those types of
Mhm.
businesses and the offshoot companies that you have there.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of my friends that wound up working in that industry, unfortunately, are no longer in the state. They moved to Texas or West Texas or the Houston area,
Wherever they can find them,
wherever
where the
they
work
can.
was going, kinda.
Yeah, if you're chasing money, you and I talked about this. If what you're doing is chasing money, you probably weren't going to stay in Louisiana, especially here in the past however many years it's been, right?
But now it's about to change. With we know how much money is about. I mean, they're even talking about we have what is it like 75 to 80 billion dollars that they're investing into the state right now
Exactly.
this year. So
Exactly. So things are changing there, from the LNG section. So
Mhm.
the thing that's exciting for me is the people that have stayed in the area
hmm
are gonna. It looks like they're gonna really benefit, especially with the administration and the way that the state is looking to go right now. So
Absolutely.
so it's for an area that may have kind of been struggling, meaning like the Homa area,
hmm
the guys that have been able to make it, to hang in there, and to have the businesses that provide this type of an atmosphere, I think they're really going to benefit. And I think that's, I think, I don't think I know, the Homa Thibodeau area, especially the Homa area, has just fantastic people.
Well, you're an intellectual guy right there. Because I mean, is it okay if we spit some of this right now? Is it okay if I let him in on some of what you got going on about?
Yeah, we kind of
so
talked a little bit about it.
yeah, so like Austin's company, Patriot, right?
Mhm.
They all cranes. Do you want to give them the spill? Do you want to give the spill rather than me? Because
Well, yeah, we kind of talked a little bit about it, but yeah, I mean, look, I mean, kind of, as this whole thing evolves, I mean,
we're not even involved. I want you to talk about
Oh.
like how you kind of moved away from the oil, like how you were saying.
oh
how
yeah,
it's
well,
kinda-
our whole and kind of like you said, I mean, look, this
'Cause you
town
started
had a
with
lot of
Uber.
ups and downs.
Absolutely.
So
they started with another company. I was like,
yeah,
40%,
yeah. Our this whole push was to kind of get away from the oil field
Exactly.
and kind of into construction and just things that don't rely strictly on the oil field.
Right.
And that was kind of our push behind it. But what's funny now, and like we just talked about, we're seeing a tick up in the oil field, which I guess, obviously the political changes and whatnot. But
Absolutely.
so I think this communities, the oil fields, they're going to see a different change coming,
Well,
starting.
and one of the things that I've always been around, whether I wanted to or not, if you are from South Louisiana, like I am,
right.
and you are going to be around golf, those golfers are going to be related to the oil field business.
Correct.
There's,
Because
there is no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
Is what at the end of the day, like we were just talking about, you're right. There's levels, right? There's
Right.
levels to things, and I feel like golf, through COVID, it got a little bit more popular with a lot more types of people, right?
Exactly.
But then at the end of the day, golf is kind of like more of your elegant.
what it
Let's
is,
go
but
talk.
look,
Let's go talk
the oil
business on the
field,
course. You know
look,
what I mean?
relationships and business were built around golf.
That's what I'm saying.
That was the whole look. And like he said, I mean, look, my dad, we were in the oil field business when I was growing up, when I was young.
Exactly.
He was always going, hey, I'm going to the golf. I'm
Well,
going
yeah,
to
I
take
mean,
these clients out to play golf.
Exactly.
You've probably seen multi-million, billion-dollar deals get happen on the golf course.
It happens. I mean, and there's no question about that. And what I realized as a young coach, being at Nicholls, was that Nicholls is a wonderful place, but like any place, it has its challenges.
Correct.
And the challenges that I would need weren't for me necessarily, but it was, let's say, external support. Maybe it would be supplies for the players. Maybe it would be, donations to the team in whatever fashion.
Or even like struggles to get kids into the school at some points.
Absolutely. But one thing, whether it was good or bad, meaning the economy,
Mhm.
oil industry, or the Homa area in general, whether good or bad, the relationships that I was able to build with people, they would help me. And what I realized quickly was, if I stay here, these folks are going to help me. Yes, they love the school. Yes, they love golf, but they're going to do it to help me as well.
Mhm.
And if you have a consistent, I always felt that if you have a consistent base and a relationship with somebody, and I don't mean every time. This is what some of the young coaches miss sometimes.
Okay.
A relationship does not mean every time a person sees you, you make an ask. You don't do that.
Right.
You have a relationship to where when that person feels comfortable, like you do with having me in this platform to talk about what we're doing at Nicholls or what the university is doing, that's when people will help you. people are giving by nature, but
Right.
what they don't want is someone that is going to be asking or expecting something all the time.
Right.
See, I
And
like that because
no,
I often,
I
hey,
love
that resonates because look,
Right.
sometimes everybody's got that certain thing on the phone when you look, oh man, I wonder what they want now, you know? It's
Exactly.
kind of thing, and
Well,
you're like,
then-
oh
Exactly.
Well, then
man.
even some of
Exactly.
these people, they even feel entitled, and like it's just like, where are you coming from? This place of entitlement, like, I'm not saying anything that pertains to any of my employees or whatever, but you see some things that goes on in some of these businesses, and you have people asking for pay raises, and more. Like I had a client, and we had a 45-minute conversation the other day, and he was telling me how Mardi Gras had came around, and some of these people that he employed wanted a bonus or whatever, and
Right.
he's like, well, I mean, dude, like look how much money you're making in this time. He was like, is that not the bonus enough? Like it's like
Exactly.
people, and it's all younger kids, and it's just like they have this mentality of almost being just like, I I deserve it, and then it's just like, why do you deserve it? Did you put in the work too? I mean,
Right.
my personal experience is I spent the last 4 years pretty much. We started off lone wolf marketing. I was lone wolf. I was by myself doing my thing, building these companies. So it's just like whenever you hire some of these people or some of these kids, and they don't realize, and they just come in and they just expect, and they just like, well, you want to get paid? What more are you gonna do, or what can you show me
Right.
that you can do? You
Yeah.
know?
Well, I can tell you right now, and I don't mind sharing this with both of you. So, when I started coaching in 1998, I was part time, and for the year I was paid $10,000. That's what I was paid, and it was a situation where this is the job. If you want it, this is what it's going to pay. Now,
Did you have anything else going on at that time, like working for somebody else or something?
I was working at Chabert Medical as a network technician. Chabert is the public charity hospital
Okay.
on the east side of Houma.
Mm-hmm.
So I had finished up my school, done that, and I was kind of working there, like not part time, kind of like as a student worker when I was doing some stuff for a temporary spot.
Mm-hmm.
I knew the golf job was going to come open, so once it did come open, that's what I started, and that's what I made.
Right.
And so I
Was that enough to get you by at that time?
had to have another job.
Yeah. Okay.
So I worked. I had another job in Houma that would work around my golf schedule, basically during the summers and stuff like that. And then I would do some camp work, and then I started doing some other stuff, golf camp work, and some other stuff.
But it's crazy. This is why this is crazy to me.
What
And I'm gonna tell you, you making me smile right now. You pumping me up because you were like doing. You love golf, right?
Oh, I love it.
You
I love it. I mean, I smile when I talk about
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So like
Right.
you play golf. You started off in golf. You play college golf at
Right.
Nicholls.
Yes.
The
yeah,
people don't know that yet,
yeah,
right? You
you're
play
right,
golf at
right,
Nicholls.
Right.
Just for you to be able to, want to do that and take on that job, still knowing that, and still hustle and still go get these other jobs. I mean, at the end of the day, man, you're an entrepreneur.
Well, I think
You making the things in your life happen so that you can get to where you want to be at.
one of the things that I want to get through this podcast is that everyone has to start somewhere.
Correct.
You do not. I know what's popular. Okay, you want to start out making $150,000 a year. Okay, well, guess what? Yeah, I want that too.
That's great. Yeah, exactly.
Everybody wants that. Everybody.
But that's not reality.
Right.
And there is nothing wrong with starting like I did, because when you start like I did at the bottom, number one, the person that hired me knew I wanted the job. Okay? Because I would put in the time and the work to do it.
You was going to meet with them and saying like,
And past that, I did some different things at the university with building the driving range, with building the golf complex that we
Okay.
have now that sells memberships.
okay,
That's a piece.
I didn't know y'all did that. Y'all sell memberships to the one that you can hit next to the wellness
Yes,
center.
and yes,
Really?
See, I didn't even know that.
I didn't know
I
that.
developed. Yes, I developed all that. It was, and which we can get into later. So I developed that as a revenue stream to supplement the team, to help out the players for team travel, for the expenses,
So
for
you
all
see
the
what
other
I'm
things.
Well, no,
saying?
that-
You're
so-
showing your value.
Well, that's what I was about to say. He over the years he's shown them to increase his value of what they're
Yeah.
Well, and I at the time I didn't know that was, we built that in.
was that in your mind at that time? Like, just be honest. Like, was it in your mind? Like, hey, I'm showing value to them. I'm gonna put as much as I can into it so that they see that, or was it more like, I'm just doing this because I want this thing to succeed. I'm passionate about it.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
And you can be honest, because like, look, this is where it comes down to. Because
And I'm not.
we a real podcast. We know, everybody knows. We tell people at the end of the day, people can be as sweet and possible as they want. They can have all these organizations. They can go to church regularly or whatever.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we all do something because we're trying to get a paycheck, right? We're
Well,
trying to live.
Right. So what happened, if you know the layout of the university at all? Well, let me backtrack for just a moment back to, and I know I'm going down memory lane with Terrebonne
it.
Parish
Go ahead, do it.
and Lafourche, but at that time, we didn't have the additional golf courses that we have in the area, which is we have a Chafalaya now over towards Morgan City, and we have Latour in Lafourche or over in Matthews. Well, you didn't have that,
Right.
so all you had was Ellendale, which was the only 18-hole golf course with a full-size driving range.
And then you had there was the one in the country club right here, and was that even a thing yet?
Oh, the Coopers. What was the Coopers?
No, it's Grady
Oh.
V's. Like,
Bayou Country Club.
Bayou Country Club.
But it's only 9 holes.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's no driving range.
Right.
Okay. So you need that if you're going to have a team to be able to practice. So while Ellendale was really great to us, we were kind of overrunning the members who were paying the bills.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened was on the piece of property it would be the east side of campus, they acquired all the property from where the golf facility is now all the way up to where culinary is.
I know exactly. Yep.
Okay, so it goes, you have the golf area, you have the rec center,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have
That
culinary.
is that big old space of land in between, and then culinary, right?
Yes, exactly. All that area that way. So that was purchased by the state in 2007.
So Nicholls State owns it?
Yes.
So Nicholls.
Well, Nicholls, the state of Louisiana.
State of Louisiana owns it. Nicholls leases it.
Yes. So we have all that property. So at that time, we were expanding on campus and building new dorms. So this may kind of fall into what your background is. So people don't understand, if you want to build a hitting area, which is called a tee box, which is elevated. So I have an elevated area where the golfers hit from. That's 3 feet up. Doesn't sound like a whole lot, but it's 100 yards wide, by 30 yards deep. That's a lot of
dirt.
That's a lot of dirt.
Yeah, no doubt.
Then you gotta like pack with sand and stuff too, right?
So what we did was, while they were building the dorms on campus, we used the sub base that they dug out.
Yeah, that's smart.
And we through Arabic Trucking, we hauled. It was for 3 weeks, 4 trucks nonstop, 12-hour shifts, 6 days a week, hauling the dirt from where they built the dorms and the apartments. And we use that as the base to build the tee area where the golf building is now. So was there a lot of expense? Some expense? Yes.
But y'all did it for a lot cheaper than what it would have cost.
A lot cheaper.
Than what it really cost. And that was smart. Who came up with that idea?
I did.
Oh my God.
Because once I found out how much the dirt was going to cost just to raise the area that we needed, I'm like,
you came to the drawing board. You was like, what's going on right now? What's happening at
this
Nicholls?
is going to be
It's gonna be a disaster. It's not gonna make sense.
Well, and it's going to be too small.
Yeah.
I can't make it big enough for the team that I need.
Yeah.
So the cars lined up. It fell in place.
So it worked out. So the president at the time, Dr. Hulbert, on that piece of property before it was sold to the states, and backtrack just a bit, there was a driving range. So your father will remember years back, Thibodeau did have a driving range, but it closed, like it didn't work out. So the president said, how are you going to have a driving range and it's going to be successful when we've had one here with 2-3 different owners and it's failed? And they had video poker and all this kind of. I said, because you own the land. I'm not paying a note on the land.
Right.
The land's paid for. All I have to do is build it. And if I sell memberships, it'll sustain itself. So he said, I'll tell you what I'll do. You can build it and I'll give you the land, but I don't have any money for you to operate it. 0. So that's when I had to start selling memberships. So I sold memberships, and that piece of property, the university and the state has not paid a dime for that except for the utility bill,
right,
where the building is.
Right.
But the golf balls, the chemicals, and all the money that it's supplied to supplement the team comes from the money that we make from it. That it's truly a place on campus that we have turned into a moneymaker.
Hey, that's
And
actually
you know what's
good.
wild? You know, we're talking about like, yeah, he's the golf coach, but you also, like you said, the entrepreneur thing. You built a business within
No, you built a business
the.
within the thing.
Well, and I have to go back to my parents with that because I've been working at a golf course since I was 13, 14, 15 years old. And that was from picking the driving range to learning about equipment. Then I worked on the crew.
So but you've been passionate about this your whole
Well,
life.
that's how you learn,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
people see me. Well, James, you all right, college and you played in college, and no. It's a trade.
Right.
It's a trade, no different than the people that you employ
Correct.
that work here. You're providing a service,
Correct.
okay? Just the way that we do things at Nicholls, it's different than a lot of, and I tell people that want to get into coaching that we can all be in the same conference, maybe the SEC, the Southland, whatever it is. My job is going to be different than the guy at Southeast Louisiana. It's definitely different than Jake Amos at LSU. It's going to be different than the guy at Lafayette because every place is unique.
Right.
Okay. But that's why if you find a place where you're a good fit, and I'm a good fit, I'll tell you, I'm not the best golf coach in the world. I'm not. But I'm the best golf coach for Nicholls in this area. And that's all that matters.
Yeah.
The rest does not matter.
That's
right.
true.
Right.
You know?
That's right.
And
That
look,
is
I
true.
can that's been facts and knowledge, and that's very self aware of you. You know, that takes a lot for somebody. You know, because most people would be like, "Oh my, I could coach anybody." You know what I mean?
Right.
So like, it's like obviously you know what you're talking about whenever it comes to.
Well, and that may come off the wrong way, but that belief in myself and what I can do for this area and at Nicholls is why I've been able to do what I've done for so long.
Well, we had some crazy. You've coached, and you can probably say some of the names. We've had some pretty top notch golf players come through this, especially over the past few years. Then a couple guys make it to the actual pros.
We had some guys that were right on the level, and then I've got some other guys that have done a lot that didn't turn pro, like Josh Fullalove from South Lafourche. I've had a lot of local guys like him that have really excelled past Nicholls, and they're just successful people. They're good business people. They give back. I mean, I'm proud of Josh. Josh is coaching, volunteering his time and helping out South Lafourche golf team.
Awesome.
I mean, that means more to me than a guy that's the XYZ pro or whatever.
Right. No, yeah, absolutely. That's going back and giving back to the
Giving
community.
back.
Yeah,
You gotta
man.
give back. You know. Look. I got more runway behind me than in front of me because I'm getting older. Okay, so you want to be able to see people, whether you agreed with the player or disagreed or whatever you want. I mean, my goal as a coach, this is just me. However their feelings are about me as a coach, that'll change over time once they mature, have a family, get
And they
on their own.
realize, yeah.
My goal is, if they played for me for 4 years, when they leave, can they get out in society and function on their own?
And succeed.
Can they work? Can they earn for their family, their children, if whatever, be a productive member of society? That's my goal. That's my ultimate goal.
I like to hear that because that's a different take on it. And I'm sure they definitely have other coaches. That's, at the end of the day, what you're saying is it's for the kids. And that's a big thing that I'm always preaching is, we got another big businessman in Thibodeau that donates a lot of money to, athletics, to Nicholls Athletics. I know a lot, to other programs and all. And it's literally because he's just kind of like you. He's involved in the community. He makes a lot of money, and he just loves seeing the kids and the program succeed and having a space for that. Because at the end of the day, man, dude, our world is turning into a different place. Like, let's say like you're still a golf coach, like in 10 more years, right? Like you're still at Nicholls in 10 more years. I don't think you'll be able to find the kids that's going to want to be able, like, as many as you can now, or even I just think that just with the social media
Well,
and
you know
the
what I'm
digital,
finding?
digital world, they don't want to come outside. They Xbox.
Well, yeah, as I was about to say, I find that the next generations are getting lazy.
Lazy, well, for sure.
I mean, look, I'll be honest, like, and that's the whole reason he laughs all the time because I kind of built this little farm at my property, but people laugh. They're like, "Man, when do you have time to fool with all that? Or wait, look, I'm not doing this for the soul. Look, I enjoy it. I go out there and play with the animals and do all that stuff, but I'm doing it for my kids. Look, I want when my kids get home from school, they go out and they play with the animals. They go out and water the garden.
Well,
They go.
he ain't even saying the real
Oh,
point.
look, no, I'm about to tell you.
yeah,
Look,
yeah.
so I built them kind of their own little business. So I ended up getting like 60 chickens, and look, they're getting 4 dozen eggs a day.
Right.
So I built them a stand in front in the neighborhood
Yeah.
where everybody could access it. They got a refrigerator in its power, got a little camera, money box, keep them, people keep them honest with the camera. But look, the neighborhood, and we've got so much feedback. Look, my kids are selling over 20 dozen eggs a week.
Dude, he brings his little girl.
Hey, look,
He
the other
brings his
day, I was telling the other day we
cutting
went
up.
to the store, and I'm trying to teach them the value of $1. Kind
Right.
of like
Exactly.
So we go to the store, and my little girl's like, "Hey, Dad, can I buy something?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So the lady says, "Okay, well, so they picked up the toy, and I'm telling her, well, look, give me your money ready." So she says, "All right, it's gonna be like $20-something or whatever." I said, "All right, Avery, give me your money." I said, "Look," she grabs me the money, and it was like a wad like that. And the lady looks at me, and I'm like, I said, "Look, I swear we're not drug dealers." I said, "She sells eggs."
Well, I was just laughing because it's just like you bring her and then like she pulls out a stack of like $500.
Well, we did. We had to. I told my wife, I said, we got to start counting this because like she can't be walking around. Look, she had $500 in her purse.
Right.
I'm like, that's crazy.
She's like 8 years old, right?
Yeah.
Well, and I can tell you this, and everybody else can tell you this on campus. Okay, and I think, well, this is what's probably a little bit different with me, and I think you'll appreciate this. Every piece of equipment in the maintenance barn, from the spray rig
I know where he's going with this.
I know where he's going
I'm
with
about
it
to-
too.
to
All right,
the
no.
bush hog to the T-mower,
Maintain and clean.
I can run every piece of
Oh,
equipment
you
Yeah.
running
in that
it.
building.
I already knew.
I thought you was gonna say you keeping it maintained and clean too.
No.
Well, no, that's after I'm done.
Working
Yeah,
it.
but that
working
goes
it.
with it. But I
Yeah,
knew he
yeah.
was gonna say you can run.
You
Yeah.
can run it.
Every
yeah.
piece.
Every piece.
Every piece. And I learned that as a young man working at a golf course. I started working at a golf course when I was young. And
So basically, well, obviously Nicholls doesn't have a golf course, but like if like something goes wrong with the driving range or whatever the case, you pretty much the guy that's gonna be on the track.
well, you have to know number one, grass, what weeds you want.
There's a lot
you
of
don't
research.
want, and it's not.
Oh, I know it's science. Trust me. I was
yeah.
I was watching like some of the stuff that went on like at the Masters and all, and then
Right.
you have these pro golfers, and you know a lot more than us than I do. I had a golf simulator, and we had great times on it. I can actually show you that. It was actually a legit setup. I showed Austin the other day. We was in the garage, and we had it was like a $12,000 golf simulator. We was playing Pebble Beach.
Mhm.
We was playing Augusta. You know what I mean? Like in full swinging, driving, and all in the garage, and it was great. I was probably getting in 75 reps a day minimum swinging. So like I was on my stuff, and this is whenever I was going in a lot of business meetings. I was actually a salesman for a roofing company. So most of the sales and stuff that I was going to do, I was like, hey, let's go to the golf course. Let's go talk some business. And it was with contractors and stuff like that, right? So I was doing that or whatever. But dude, just having that golf simulator and just doing those things, I mean, and putting in those reps, that was a hell of a time. I mean, that was fun.
Yeah, and that's that's with the whole golf league that they had on ESPN and stuff like that. That's hitting a different market.
Are you talking about
The one with Tiger Woods.
Yeah, well, it's when you got PGA and then you have the Dubai League. That's what one you're talking about.
No. What I'm referring to is the ones that are actually played
Oh,
indoors.
and I'm sorry. I completely, and that's my fault. I completely stopped and didn't even go where I was going with. I'm sorry. What I was going with the professional golfers, and what I was seeing is like they keep cards of like each and every green, and they know what little bump is here, what little bump is there.
We have those for the players. Yeah.
So it's just like I know how technical that stuff can get with that research and all. And so it's just like, and then aerating the greens and making sure your greens are rolling and how fast your ball is going. Are the greens too fast? Are they too slow?
Exactly.
How do you make them perfect the right way? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I can only imagine.
Yeah.
So basically, you a landscaper.
Well, landscaper. I'm a fundraiser. I'm a machine operator.
He's the Mr. Gadget of golf.
Yeah.
So, and that one of the things that my father told me, which was very true and is true to this day, and I think it applies to both of you. He said, any skill that you develop is just another tool in your toolbox, and they can't take that away from you. Anything that you learn that you're able to do, and once you learn something, you get more confident, right? So you're able to do it again and again and if I would have to change careers or do anything different like that, that was something that my dad told me, and that is very true, and it applies to so many different people across the board.
Mm-hmm.
You
It
know,
does. I mean, you see a lot of these kids. I got a kid that came in the other day, and he's actually like he wants to start his own landscaping company. He's talked like he works for another landscaping company. He's like, man, I see all these big checks that these other guys are getting, and I'm just kind of giving him the rundown. Like, all right, like how passionate are you about this business?
right?
Do you really love it? Can you tell me what's the difference between a cypress oak and a water cypress oak?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Can you tell me
Exactly.
all of these details?
Exactly.
And then he came back at me and he was like, well, yeah, actually, I can. And I was like, all right, well, if you really are that passionate about it, then yeah, I can see it. But then, like, the first thing, whenever Austin walked in, I said, Austin, come in, listen to what this kid guy say. You know, what you think about it? First thing, Austin said, exact same thing I said, oversaturated market, right, yada, 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 right? But at the end of the day, if you have the passion and the drive and you're going to wake up every single day and work towards whatever you're going to work towards, it's almost impossible to fail.
I agree with that 100%. I can, I mentioned this to, I guess my athletic director the other day or whatever.
And doing it to the fullest capability that you
Well,
can do it, right?
Well, and I said this to him. I said, when I'm gone from this position, you're going to have to find someone. If the setup is the same, meaning what is required of the coach, okay, at Nicholls, you're going to have to find somebody that's as excited as I am when I get up every morning to go to that golf facility to make it good for my team and my members. Meaning, I still have pride of what I do.
Correct.
Well, no,
I've done it. Look, I've done it. I can sit here and tell you everything I've done. I don't like doing that.
yeah, no, you
That's
feel
not
like,
my
yeah,
deal.
yeah.
But what happens is the longer you do something, the more confident you get in that you can handle any issue that you have.
Or anything that comes your way.
Whatever it is. Whatever,
Well, look,
right?
perfect example. Me, Caroline Thomas, we're sitting at Grady V's, and I didn't say this on the podcast. We talked about this before the podcast, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so we all sitting at Grady V's, and they were just like, "Hey, who's the next person we can get?" Like, we trying to figure out, like, because we just made the partnership with Nicholls, right?
Right.
After
After Coach Frost.
Yep. And so we're trying to figure out like who can we get next or whatever. And then Thomas was just like, well, I already know who's gonna be next. And it was literally just quick phone call. You answer the phone. Hell yeah. What do you gotta do? Oh, he's gonna come get it, whatever. He's coming get some footage on this day. All right, book him on that date. Like it was literally, honestly, I haven't had a situation yet so far with any and nothing against any of the other coaches at Nicholls or nothing.
Right.
I just have not had that smooth of a that's just yes, and yes. Like, let's make it happen.
Absolutely.
You know, it's always maybe, well, I got something on my schedule or yada, yada. Well, you did have something on your schedule. Hey, bring them out here while we're on the schedule and come and get, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's just like, I see that. And yeah, I saw it from the jump. I saw it from when they said it.
Well, and I can tell you, I'm generally, and this starts with the university president, with Dr. Clune. I'm generally appreciative from all the presidents I've had, Dr. Io, Dr. Hulbert, Dr. Murphy, and now Dr. Clune. I am appreciative that they let me, have allowed me to coach the golf team at Nicholls.
And kind of have like your free range of like what you'd be able to do.
That means the world to me. And I can't, and then the athletic directors that I've had, from Jonathan Terrell, Rob Bernardi, Stan Williamson, Mike Knight, and Matt Rome. So I've had that many as well.
Shout out to all of these guys too. This is all doctors and high established affiliate people with Nicholls who worked at Nicholls and
absolutely, and without their support, none of the things that I've been able to do with my life, for my two children, to provide for them, to have a nice home to live and do all the things that we do down here, without their support, it doesn't matter what I know.
Right.
That doesn't matter. You have to, and I hope for some of our younger audience out there, you need to understand it's okay to have people help you, because if I didn't have that help from those administrators, okay, and from those university presidents, I'm not sitting here and we're not talking right now.
Correct.
Bottom line.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, you know what's crazy about that statement? So I kind of had a little experience with that too, and some people kind of gave me a little backlash because when I mentioned it on the podcast, you had a couple people make comments like, "Oh, you should have let that guy know." And kind of, I'll give you the little scenario. So we had crane obviously we're in the crane business.
Yes.
We got crane operators, so I'll get some crane guys to come in. But it goes back to what he's saying. Some of these guys, the ones that are willing to learn and not per se act like they know everything, that's the kind of guys you want on your team to be able to where you can help, give ideas and help mold to what you kind of look. I had a guy come in, he's like, "Yeah, I've been doing this for 40 years, blah, 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 and whatever." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. So if you're gonna have that attitude, you better know how to run a crane." That's kind of the way I looked at it.
Exactly.
So I take him outside and we go to run a crane. It's like, what are you talking about? Why
Well-
why are you
man.
being that cocky?
No, why you brought that down?
So look-
Why you brought that up, Austin? You have this other guy.
Look, I'm gonna have it
He's gonna
again, but
come-
that's okay.
He's gonna
Look,
come in the
comment
comments.
on it. No, comment on it. But look, so I straight up just was like, "Yeah, okay, man. Yeah, okay, that's cool." Like I acted like, "Look, we gotta go on a job and do all this stuff." They were like, "Oh, you should have told him he was that." No, I'm not gonna sit here and bash this guy in front of him. I'm just gonna simply say, "Hey, we'll let you
Wasn't
know.
fit.
We'll let you know if you're needed."
Right.
I kind of just let him off easy. They're
Right.
telling me I should have said, "No, you." No, I'm not doing all that. Look, if you're gonna come in cocky like you've been doing this and you know better,
But you see, one of the parallels in what we both have, even though people would be like, "What parallel are you talking about?" I build a team, you build a team,
that's right.
and you have to, a big part of being a coach, which is what I'm called. Are you running your company? Are you putting together your company?
Right.
You have to figure out, okay, we got all these pieces. It could be players, it could be employees, whatever it is. You got to put the pieces together, and the better you put them together and the more efficient you put them together, that's when you're successful.
Well, the better the process is. But I actually wanted to comment too, not to backtrack too much about what you just said on, help and just things like that.
Mhm.
So like, actually, I just had a situation where I just bought a house, and so the way that I do my stuff, I make a decent amount of money, right? I do very well for myself. But at the end of the day, we smart about our money and we smart with how we use our money. Well, bottom of the line is I ended up having to do a bank statement loan, and with that bank statement loan, you putting 10% down. I'm buying a $300,000 house. You gotta put 10% down. Then I got a high interest rate just because I don't have W-2s. I'm self-employed, so
Right.
I got to do it that way or whatever. Well, I was reaching out, and reaching out to my mom and stuff, and my mom's going through her own personal things like cancer and stuff. So I let them know, like, we're gonna take them off of my old loan that I had because they helped me to get to that point.
Right.
But that's where I basically was going with it, is that I did all of it by myself. But the only reason I was able to get to this point to where I can do it all by myself was because the first house that I bought, my mom was there to help me and help me get there and help me take that step. Look, with Austin right here, I mean, just being straight up, I would not have anything as nice as I had it right of what I got going on right now if it wasn't from the help of Austin and the things that he helped to do to incorporate. And look, I would hope you would think, like, also Nick helped me out a lot too. I hope I hope, but it's a give and take.
But the most important thing out of everything that you said just now was this. Yes, you had the help, but you acknowledge that someone helped you.
Oh, absolutely.
Because how many people?
They don't acknowledge it, and they don't even care, and they act like you didn't do nothing for them.
I just gave you a list of all the people, not
Right.
even mention my parents or my beautiful wife Effie,
Mhm.
right? That
Right.
have been with me, because that's the other side of coaching. Is my wife largely when have team travel and I'm gone all the time working or with the team or whatever.
That's a sacrifice.
She's raising those.
Yeah, she's raising your kids.
Well,
as a
look, what's
sacrifice.
really crazy about all that? Like, I know that was in your younger days when you got that amount, when you mentioned the amount.
Wait, that's something.
But
that
look, this is what I was
goes
gonna
on
say.
between
Your
us
wife
all
was
the
like,
time.
probably like, I don't know if you were married at that time, but let's say, so, I mean, you'd have been like, okay, any other person would be like, what are you doing? You're doing this for no money, and like, are you really going to continue this? But you had the drive and the love for the sport that's what kept it going. So your dedication speaks for itself. Is basically what I'm saying.
And I thank you for that. And I think for me, well, I don't think I got lucky, meaning I picked the right woman
Yeah, that's stuck by your side. Yeah.
who was also a worker, who's an educator, who's still working.
So she understood the drive. She had the same.
To her, it didn't. I don't think it mattered what I did.
Right.
She just wanted to know whatever it was.
That she was gonna back you up.
that I was going to get up and
Do it. That you're passionate about it.
Do it. Are you going to get up at 5? You're going to get up at 6. You're going to make those drives. You're going to go pick the range. You're going to do. Don't tell me.
Yeah.
Get out there and excuse me.
No.
Look. Hey, look. We try to keep it.
Get yourself out there and do it.
We trying to keep it user friendly because it's Nicholls episode and stuff. But look, we curse. We let it let it fly sometimes.
Well, all the administrators at Nicholls won't be surprised that I.
It was crazy too. Like
that's why I say no. It's look. This is a time.
It's a live deal. I mean, not a live deal, but we like the. You know,
banter.
We banter, man. At the end of the day, look, dude, we're in South Louisiana. We ain't over here being politically correct. And if somebody needs us to be politically correct, kick rocks.
Right.
Because guess what? We don't. You know what I mean?
Right.
We know what we're doing and we know our worth. You can curse if you need to curse.
Well, no,
you know what I mean? If you need to say that and then let's all of it, I'm a perfect example of it. I start letting stuff fly whenever. I wear my emotions on my sleeve, you know.
Right.
So I'll let stuff fly sometimes, but it's just like, you know, it's not that it's. And some people look at it as like, oh, look at this guy, he's uneducated because he's using these filler words or whatever. But it's like, no, man. Sometimes you need to get out that F word to make somebody understand that this is what you're really trying to say. You know, throw that passion into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It's a fine line. You know,
I don't know if I'll go that far, but that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, that's a little extreme, guy.
That's a fine line.
That's okay.
That's a fine.
But no. So, but kind of back to that and what she experienced. I think one of the advantages that I've had with my wife is that when she met me, I was finishing up playing, but I'm fortunate that's the job that she's known. So she hasn't known if I have a sales job or a 9-to-5 job or the various different types of careers that you can have.
Right.
That's what she's known. And I owe a lot of my success to her because she has been 100% supportive of me. And even if we had bad years or I would have a bad day or I'd be struggling with different things, I mean, she's my rock. I mean, you know, she's and the thing I like about her, she's tough. Like, she'll support, she gets up, and she'll do the work.
But she keeps it real with you, too.
You're damn right she does.
You see, I got pretty much the same thing with my fiance, actually. She's in dental school in New Orleans
That's
right now.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So she has her head on straight. You know, we have our differences here and there where it's just like some things I'm just like, chill out, Taylor. Like, I'm running 3 companies, baby. Like, I'm doing things for us. Like, you know, just take off a little bit of stress on me. Like, appreciate. But she does. Like, she makes sure she says, like, I'm so proud of you. You know, she makes sure it throws those things in there every now and again. So, like, I like that. You know,
I think, you know, if you look at both of us, she's an educator and I'm a coach, but we're serving others.
Correct.
We're helping others.
Correct.
And that's, you know, I've made more mistakes than anybody in my life. I'll be the first to say it, but I try to help people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to continue to do that as long as I'm coaching. And as long as I try to do is help, if I can try to continue to help young people and show them the right way and point them in the right direction, I think that's what I was put on this earth to do.
Yeah.
Did she play golf? Did you ever get her to try to play golf?
She hates golf.
Oh, see, look, and that's the answer I was thinking you were going to say because look. I was thinking that because look.
It's stuff like that, though. Like, it's almost, I see it so much with, like, highly successful people.
Right.
Where it's just, like, the man and the woman, they're the same in a lot of ways, but also they have their complete opposites.
So she
is
athletic. I will tell you, she has 2 or 3 levels of black belt in Taekwondo, and she's an instructor.
Okay.
So
she's like, she has that background, like athletics and stuff, though.
So now we know why he was saying all this. Look, because if he she gonna put that Taekwondo on him when he get home.
He gets home.
No.
Karate chop to the neck.
You know, sometimes she's like, well, come on, I want to try this. I'm like, stop.
Yeah.
Did you whip my ass?
She's just breaking shit around the house.
Yeah. No, I'm not doing any of that.
That's funny.
So, no, but she you know, and not to say too much about that, but I think it's, you know, probably not going to have every coach talk about this.
Well, yeah.
You know, she's my best friend.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know,
That's
so-
what it's supposed to be. You
Yeah.
know, that's what it's supposed to be at the end of the
But
day.
look, everybody's got. I mean, I could say the same with my wife. Listen, I'm barely home as it is, like doing different things we do, and guess what? She's handling all the kid stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, just like you said. I mean, listen, if she wasn't there to handle the stuff with the kids, I couldn't get half of the stuff I would get.
Well, and I
accomplished.
have two. I'm very fortunate. Two boys. One is graduating from Nicholls. One is graduating from HL.
What's their names?
William is my oldest.
William
Shilling.
William Shilling. How old he is?
22.
So he's younger. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna.
So William and then Andrew, and William went through Nicholls. Already has a job set up. He passes
Awesome.
praxis education, and then my younger son Andrew, went his senior year, half-time at HL and half-time at TCT, career technical. So he already has a job. He works. He goes 2-3 hours to HL, and he goes to Barker.
Oh, he works at Barker right here in Houma.
Works at Barker.
Doing what? What he does with Barker?
Mechanic.
Okay,
A
I
tech.
might.
He's a tech.
No, wait.
He's a tech.
So I have my best friend Jensen Landry. Andrew Shilling?
Yes.
I'm gonna ask him about
Ask
him.
him.
I will
Ask
because
him.
my best friend Jensen, he's actually he's the head mechanic at Barker.
Well, then he's going to know him.
Yeah.
So that's what my son does.
Awesome.
He has a passion for that, and I have two wonderful boys.
Well, look, that just shows though what good bases and good
Well,
roots
yeah.
and good parenting does to, you know what I mean?
So I have, and they've done totally opposite things. But one of the things that I've done and that Effie has done is we support.
yeah, support whatever they want.
If that's what you want to do, that's fine. Do it.
But do it to the fullest.
Do it
Do
to the
it.
fullest.
Don't do it halfway.
Yeah, no
yeah,
doubt.
yeah.
And that's my oldest son's passion is music. My youngest son loves working on cars. Is mechanically inclined, and that's going to be his path. And I'm fortunate that we live in an area that has transitioned to give kids that don't want to go to college a
Right.
career path.
Yep.
And I think that needs to be said.
Oh no, it does. It 100% does because look, at the end of the day, I went to college, and don't get me wrong, you went to college.
Right.
Austin, did you go to college?
I did, but look, the
You did-
craziest
yo,
part.
yeah,
No,
you-
this is the
you
craziest part. I only did. Look, I went to Nicholls, but
but you never finished, though, right?
I was kind of like you. I was almost a career student, man.
Oh,
Like,
so you finished?
well, yeah, I
Oh,
got.
okay.
Well, no, I got an associates. I didn't go the
Right,
whole back.
right,
no,
right,
no,
right.
I went probably 4 years, but I got.
So like I
2
went
years.
6 years. I went 6 years. Through the 6 years, I got 3 degrees. I'm sorry, 1 degree and 3 minors. So
Right,
a
right.
business
Nah, school
and
was my
then
thing.
marketing, sociology, and social sciences. I just, but like it's just crazy though to hear just because you want, like you said, we giving these other kids other opportunities in this area to do things.
Right.
But don't get me wrong, I made a lot of great experiences, and I don't regret anything about what I did in college and my
Right.
things that I done.
Right.
And it made me a lot of connections and opened up a lot of opportunities. Like for one, we're partners with Nicholls. Well, guess what? The reason I even got this opportunity, the guy who got me the partnership with Nicholls was in my Nicholls sales class my senior year.
There
You know what I
go.
mean?
There you go.
So it's stuff like
Yeah.
that it does have a benefit and all, but then for the kids that it's not for, like I see it and I see where some of these kids, they don't need to go in for another 4 years to sit in the classroom. That's not meant for them. And they can make money. Dude, I just being honest, I own a marketing company. I own a photography, videography company. Now I own with Austin a podcast studio and a photography studio. Dude, you know how many times I got asked for my college graduation certificate?
Never.
Never. So, what I like so much about what my youngest son went through was that and both of my children went to public school, okay, at HL. I like the fact that, and it's Bubba Orgeron is the superintendent now, but they had the foresight to understand we have a skill set and a group, an age range where people that are doing that type of work, techs on cars, mechanics, electricians, welders, et cetera, it's dying off.
Yeah.
and you have to replace that labor base.
And how you gonna replace it right
And
now?
how are you going to replace it with, if you're going to stereotype it as, well, if you don't go to a college, you're not
Successful. You're not successful.
You're not this.
Correct.
You're not that.
Correct.
That's not right, because I can tell you, I'm somebody that went to college. I played golf, which is considered an higher class
Right.
type of sport.
Right.
You know what I do for a living? It's a trade. I just told you. I'm at the
Right.
range.
Right.
I'm running equipment.
Right.
So that I'm very pleased that they found an avenue to engage, because with my youngest, who maybe isn't going to make a 32 on the ACT like my oldest did.
Right.
Okay, you can lose people like that if you don't give them an avenue to feel where they can be successful.
Correct.
Well, I
You know.
agree. Look, how
Oh,
often
1,000.
the stuff's pushed where, like you said, if you go to college, like, look, for prime example, we didn't air this episode yet, but we had a young guy the other day. All he does is YouTube. Look,
Right.
they told him, he was telling us a story. People were telling him, hey, you're never going to make it.
Hey, shout out
shout
Kobe.
out- yeah,
Hey,
shout out
he's
Kobe.
supposed to be here. He's in Texas right now. He's actually another one of our hosts on the episode on
That's
the
awesome.
thing. He actually he's a part of the Wolf Den now. And look, like you just said, the kid got 200,000 followers on
Yeah.
YouTube.
He'll probably have
200,000
1 million
followers.
by the time
That's
this year's
unbelievable.
over.
Yeah, by the end of the
But look,
year.
that's all he does full time. So
And-
he's making his money. Look, and he's making more money than most of these kids coming out
Oh,
of college.
Look, hey Kobe,
And-
I'm not spitting out your exact numbers or nothing right here, but look, in the past 3 months,
He's making good money.
I could tell you this. In the past 3 months, he did the same. 2 or 3 of his videos that I know he didn't have to stress out on as much as I have to stress on with clients and stuff like that.
Right.
He made a little bit less than me in these 3 months.
Yeah.
Like a little bit less. Like I'm talking about.
But that just
and it's-
shows,
but it's-
shows you, like we talked about.
talking about like
people
a-
are telling him, oh, you're not going to make it. You're not going to ever do that. It's just a hobby. Well, no.
But look, like
if you put enough passion into it, hey.
I'll put it to you like this: like we revenue anywhere, it fluctuates, but with some of my companies, we do anywhere around 15, 30, depending on the month, right?
Right.
This kid Kobe, he's like at that 30 every month right now.
And I
like,
think it proves that we still live in the greatest country in the world, where if you put your mind to something and
Yeah.
you work, and I
And
mean
opportunity.
you really apply yourself
and do it to the fullest.
and do it to the fullest, okay?
Because that's my biggest thing. Like how you said that earlier. Like, so 2 years ago, I decided I was going to open up the Wolf Den podcast. I was going to start it. Well, we was working out of my bedroom, out of my office, like in a bedroom, 2-bedroom, living room, kitchen, nothing crazy, nothing fancy.
Right.
But we had, a black screen, a red couch.
You actually recorded one episode.
I
huh?
recorded one episode and I didn't release it because I looked at it and I watched it and I was like, man, is this to my fullest potential? Am I gonna release this? And then are people really gonna watch this? And is it really gonna be successful? Because I know that I can do better and I can be better at this.
Right.
So you know what? I dropped that episode. I left the Instagram page up or whatever. And then 2 years later, I link up with Austin and then I'm like, this is my vision. This is what we can do. This is how we're gonna make it happen, and this is how we're gonna make money off of it. And he was like, he saw the vision, and then he helped me create it, and this is where we at now.
Yeah.
And then it's just like I wasn't doing anything less than what you see here.
Right.
Like if it wasn't gonna look to this professional standard, I mean, look, dude, you see this wall right here? 3 times we had to undo these blocks because
to get it right.
yeah, to get it right because I had some guys came in and install it. Dude, they had the patterns going like all like to the same way. My guy in the studio was laughing because he was probably one of the ones that was doing it. I was like, what the hell? He did? You didn't? I was like, what the hell, dude? I was like, what? Y'all think that looks good? I was
Well,
like,
it's
it's supposed
funny.
to be
He's
red,
asked
though.
me. He was like, "What you think?" I'm like, "Well, I don't really have that."
No,
OCD
he's thinking.
type."
He said it looked good too. He was
Yeah,
like,
but I was like, I mean, it don't really. He's like, "Nah, bro, it's just tripping me out. This OCD
I
thing's got
said,
me
I know. I was like, oh, I took every panel off. I was like, redo, and I did. I ended up putting most of them up back myself, but it's just things like that. You got to do it to the fullest and to the best that you can do it. Because if you don't, then what's the point of even doing it?
Yeah. And I, platforms like this allow, well, not just me, but everybody to learn more about somebody.
It does.
Because if you see me, a guy with gray hair in a golf outfit, you may think X or this. Well, probably after this podcast, you're gonna be like, that's a pretty Hopefully.
No,
Well,
look,
no,
I'll be
it's in
honest. I'll
conversation.
be honest with you. Whenever we were towards
Well-
the beginning, I'll let you go. I'm gonna let you go. But like
Alright.
towards the beginning, like whenever you was talking for a good minute,
Yeah.
I was like honestly thinking like, shit, this is about to be a good episode. I was like, he is spitting knowledge right now, and I love that because some of our guests that we have in here,
Right.
you know, you walk into the studio, it's a little intimidating. You know, you got cameras, lights, and all on you.
Right.
So it's not as easy to get in that natural. But dude, you did it. You killed it. I mean, you're killing it. You know what I mean?
Well, no,
you walked
I-
in and it was just natural, and I was literally thinking in my head, I was like, dude, this is about to be a
Well,
banger.
and you know, one of the things that I do with my players is, you know, and I tell them this all the time. You may not like the message or what I'm telling you,
Right.
Right.
but you have to trust me in that what I'm trying to do is going to be to your benefit. And you won't understand right now, and you may not understand 5 years from now. Okay?
Brad, and Sean in the studio, y'all listening to this right now?
But it
Y'all hear this? Y'all hear this?
eventually what I'm telling you is going to help you, and it's going to help your family, and it's going to help you be a more successful person and productive.
That's facts.
Facts. Now, what did you want to say?
Well, no, what I was gonna say, and it kind of goes with all that. But look, going into these podcasts, and you're right. When we have these different guests, like, look, I went to Nicholls. I didn't know nothing about the golf thing. I didn't know nothing about the football, softball. I don't know nothing about Nicholls. Look, I went to school and I went to work,
Exactly.
and that was it. And I didn't do. If it wasn't benefiting me at that time to where it had to do with what I was going for, I didn't give a shit about nothing else. Honestly, I didn't.
Right.
I just went to school, went home.
Well,
And then or went party. But listen,
well, I would say
what
this
was
too.
crazy?
You had different little thing going
Well,
on.
yeah, but look,
you
what-
had some big shit going on.
well, yeah,
all the
but
time.
look, but that's but besides that, but look, what's crazy is after these episodes, now I'm like interested into that. I want to follow up with the golf thing, see how everything's going on. I want to follow up with the softball. Like now, I have some interest in
Oh,
it.
dude, softball going crazy right
Well,
now.
I know, and that's crazy. Look, I didn't know anything. Now I'm
Well, can you
following.
do you know the information on? Do you know if they won their last game or whatever? I didn't want to spoil nothing, but because the last time we talked to Coach Frost, he said they were on what it was the 13
They were
win
12
streak,
and 0.
12-0.
No, I'm sorry, not 12-0. They won 12 consecutive games.
Yeah, 12 consecutive games.
He did wind up losing eventually, but I know he won the series at Southeastern. So I want to say this. Coach Frost has done an unbelievable job with the softball
Give
team.
him all his flowers that you can right now, because I
mean,
literally told him that.
Unbelievable what he's done with those young women, and you know, we improved this year, my team. But when you start winning 11, 12, 13 games in a row,
Yeah, it says something.
that's leadership.
Right.
Well,
you know.
it's almost like
And that's a deep team. Because you're going to have good days and bad days. You're going to hit the ball well, not hit the ball. You're going to have a good day on the course, bad day on the course. But when you're winning that many games in a row,
Yeah, it's not.
Well,
You're not
look,
just luck. It's not luck.
No, that's not luck.
I don't know if
No.
you watched the Ron Frost episode or not, but Coach Ron, he was trying to make things happen just like you were for the program. Coach Ron came out of his own pocket to pay my company to get videos made to, start boosting up the social media side and stuff for these girls and try to get some of these more students in to come and want to play and stuff. So I mean, just the things that he's doing, he really, like you said, you got to give him his
It's
flowers.
dedication, it's leadership.
It's dedication and leadership.
And one of the things that I do, and I'm a firm believer in, if it's doctors, if it's a dentist, if it's people that I'm around I like being around young people. And you know why? Because they have new ideas.
No, look, and
They have new ideas.
oh, dude, please, we need to clip
So-
that right there, and we need to send that to Assumption Parish, the whole entire community of Assumption Parish. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, that community is struggling so much right now because they're scared of what you just said.
Of change.
They're scared of change. So I'll tell you, and this is all known information. So I'm a part of Assumption Chamber of Commerce, the board. I'm a part of the the heart of the Chafalaya Museum that we're being built in Pierreport right now in Bell River. And I'm gonna tell you right now, our biggest challenges and our biggest things that we face is that pretty much all the people on the board is basically 40 and up, and then not even 40. 40 is a low number. It's probably realistic like 60 and up, and then you have me. And then I go into some of these meetings and I'm giving out my ideas. I did a golf tournament.
Damn, they must.
No,
cool.
just wait,
They must,
just wait.
That high energy must be wild.
Oh, look, I go into these meetings. I go into these meetings and I'm like, well, look, y'all saying y'all doing this, and that. Well, how about we try this, and that? So they listened to me finally one time. Dude, I raised $10,000 for him in a day. Golf tournament. Did a golf tournament, raised $10,000 for him. And I'm like, are y'all not seeing the benefit in this? Like, this was just something that y'all had no idea goes on or what to do or whatever. And I was like, I just did this all on my own, didn't charge him $1 for it just because I'm part of, I'm trying to help the community.
Right.
I'm trying to help make it better, a better place. I want to see a museum in Pierre Port. I want the Cajun history to be continued and stuff. But then it's just like, how can I help y'all be successful if I'm going to come in here and then y'all going to ignore half the things I say just because y'all dismissing it because I'm young? I'm like, yeah, I'm young, but look, I'm walking in here. I'm wearing I'm not trying to brag. I'm wearing a Rolex. I'm wearing a diamond chain bracelet. I'm wearing I got a gold chain. I'm not trying to say like I'm this flashy, flexy guy, but like, I know a thing or two with them, what I'm talking about, right?
Well,
I make good money, so it's just like.
And I can't comment on that board or.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. You got things with Nicholls.
No. Whatever happened there, but to kind of tie into that. When you came out with your crew with my team at Latour to video the kids, the players, I didn't know. I don't know that much about podcasts or media. When I say media, when I think of media, I think of old print media,
right.
newspaper, this, that, and the other. The new stuff that you guys are doing, I didn't know. But you know what I said? Did I tell you no?
Oh,
heck no! Come out, come do it.
Come do it, and guess what?
And my players loved it.
Good.
They absolutely they loved it.
We didn't even really make y'all a hype video yet because we waiting for y'all to have a tournament or anything or something so that we can actually get that other footage.
Which we have in October.
Okay, perfect. So that's gonna be the first one that we come to. But we did include some of the footage that we grabbed. Is going to be in this first episode. We included in the last episode, and then we also included in the Nicholls partnership video that we got coming out, like showing that we're including with Nicholls Athletics. But we're gonna make y'all a whole. Did they show you the baseball hype video yet?
I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
We need to show it on the screen. Can we do that real quick? Can this be like the first time we do that real quick? Like, if we pull it up on the screen and I show him on my phone right now. No, I just want to show him on my phone right now. And then just like, let's see what he thinks about it. And then like, cause he saw me go in video in person. So like, I want you to see this video and then you be like,
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So for the audience, he came out to Latour during practice. And while my players were playing, got different action shots. And actually you came up with stuff that I didn't even ever think
about doing, right?
You guys doing
right.
At all. So that was very
So let me just actually in this phone. I'm gonna pull it up right
different
here.
and cool.
Yeah, come on, pretty well.
No one leaves unscathed.
And we're gonna play it for the viewers.
The Colonels don't quit. So lace up.
I can't get over how good the video is.
Quality is amazing.
Quality.
Clear. It's unbelievable.
Swords up.
Even with the drone.
What? I mean, that's what we pride ourselves on. So
Everything. The players, cheerleaders, cheer team. Didier Field. That is wow.
So like, no, like
So that stuff like that
It sets you apart.
sets you apart, dude.
that helps recruiting.
Well,
That's
yes.
what. That's
And so
I'm
that's-
glad you
that's
look,
recruiting.
I'm so glad you realized that because that's what I've been getting Thomas and Caroline's head. I was like, because
Well, look, and that brings me to my next question after. But
Well, that was the biggest thing with Coach Ron. Whenever he brought me on, he was like, "Look, man, we're struggling to get girls at this college. That was one of his. This is
Right.
a year or two ago, right? He was like, we're struggling to get girls at this college and all. And I was like, look, dude, I was like, and this is even something, and it's getting better. I've seen the stats. Nicholls stats are getting better. We're getting more people and more. COVID was a hit, right? Whatever. But then over the past few years, we're starting to get that gain in students back, right? And it's gradually coming back up.
We are.
But what the problem was is getting these students and even these really good players, why let's get them attracted to Nicholls. Let's say, look at this program, look at what we could provide for you. And that's why we even trying to come up with some of the more things on helping out these players so that they can make it to the next level. Let's make a digital card with the player spinning around, holding a baseball bat or swinging a golf club, and have their stats laid out to it, and they can put that on the drive or email and send that to a recruiter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
something different. And it's like, they're like, damn, who the hell is this kid? Where did they get this made? This looks like something that would be on ESPN.
Well, that does right there what I just saw. I can tell you right now.
Well, I mean, I appreciate that.
No, and I'm not just.
No, that's a good feeling. I appreciate that, honest. That makes
No,
me
it's
smile.
true. I mean,
and
look.
look, you got that boy right there in that studio. I give him props all day. My team building that team, right? Brant, one of my main editors. I have Andy, my animator. We all kind of put our time into this video, and it took about Brant, about a week or two for this one.
Yeah.
We took
Yeah.
We took about 10 hours of editing, so we took a little bit longer than we would for our normal one, but like we're trying to make it
10
pop.
hours. Yeah.
And people don't understand. Think about it. 10
Wow.
hours of work of editing on a computer screen. People don't get that type of.
Well, I say that out loud because I know what I can get done in 10 hours at the golf facility
Right.
or with my team.
Correct.
That's basically a 36 whole day with my guys
Correct.
whenever we're competing because we're basically 12 hours. So
It's just so much goes into it, and then it's like, and I'm not trying to hit on a negative note. I really am trying to stay positive,
Right.
but it is kind of downing whenever you have these clients that come at you and you're doing all of these services for them and stuff, and then they almost like downplay the service. It's like, well, it's just a picture, it's just a video. I was like, you know what it took to get that picture? You know what it took to edit that video?
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And so it kind of like, it's a chop in the gut, but then at the same time, it's just like, this is where we show our value, and this is where we separate ourselves from the competition, because any one of my clients come in here, they walk into this building and they see what we have going on. I got the job.
Well, what did I say when I walked in?
Yeah.
I said, and I don't want you to take this the wrong way with your company. I said, we have this here,
Yeah.
and it was quite impressive.
Yeah.
Quite
Yeah.
impressive.
You wouldn't expect it. It really don't.
No, I didn't. And I called Thomas. I said, well, I think I'm at the right address. He said, look for Patriot.
Yeah, it
I,
looks-
said, okay, I got
Looks
it
like
now.
just a construction just somewhere where you have construction equipment.
Like one of the 100 metal buildings. I hate
Right.
to
Well,
say
no,
it,
it's true.
In Terrebonne Parish.
Like, that's the crazy part. But see, that's the aspect we were going for. We wanted to be
We
like,
want you
hey.
to walk into a
And then
new
look,
world.
because
We want
we've
you to be
literally gotten
surprised.
that, like, oh my God. Like, what
yeah,
is
no,
this?
exactly. And that's exactly what I did when I saw, this setup. So, yeah.
Awesome.
That's wild.
That's really.
But going back to the
that.
recruiting part, do you find, like, going back, let's say years back,
Right.
kind of when you find it was an easier time to recruit beings that we didn't have all the, I guess, media outlets and all this stuff to where it kind of, not per se, what I'm going for is like,
Well,
I'm
I
guessing
wanna-
with all the technology making people, I'll say lazier
Well, I want to know.
nowadays.
Well, playing off of his question, I just want to know
yeah.
how has it changed over the years? Like, I
Yeah,
guess
well, that's
how
kind of what I want to know. I
yeah,
want to
that's how
know
you're
if it's
asking.
harder to recruit now because people are like, oh, well, no, I'm too busy with this technology thing. I'm trying to do this. I don't want to go play golf. I'm more of an inside person. You know what I'm saying? Because look, that's what I'm.
Well, this is where This is where I think you going with it. Is like, I'm guessing back in the day, recruiting wise, you had to go to the baseball game, go to a football game, go and watch these kids actually play. I'm sure that still gets done.
Well,
right?
because you really had nothing else. Not no offense, but there was nothing. That was the entertainment. You wanted to be outside. People were playing sports. People were. I mean, listen. When we grew up, we didn't. What was the whole set? You come home when the street lights come on.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is now though,
Right.
like the recruitment process, probably like they have kids sending in DVDs of themselves, right? Or
VHS tapes. That's
yeah,
crazy.
or whatever. You know what I mean? Is
Back
that
in
not
the day.
happening? So wait, where's
So you have companies. You have companies now whose sole purpose is in some form or fashion to do what you were doing,
Mhm.
and they go meet with the client. They put a resume together. It may include swing video, which is all communicated now, not by VHS or DVD, but
right?
it's all through
USB,
email,
Gmail drives,
whatever.
Right.
So there's those services that provide that. But to, at least for me, to still know a player, I still go put my eyes on them.
Yeah.
And when I do it, I don't tell them that I'm going to watch them.
Right.
You just do it. Yeah.
I do, and that's on purpose
Right.
because I don't want them to know that I'm going to watch.
Or
them.
that
Well, you want to
eyes
see
on.
their true self.
Yeah,
you don't want to
100%.
fake. Because look,
You wanna see if they
obviously,
about to throw a
if, you,
tantrum
if they know
tantrum
you're watching, they're
or-
gonna be like, "Oh, I better be on my
Shit, I'm on my P's and Q's. I'm on my P's and Q's.
Nah.
And so we're talking about kind of the changes and stuff. Whenever we were young, well, when I was younger, playing junior golf, college golf, all that. And this will be different with every coach. So I do want to convey that to both of you.
Okay.
But I am still of the belief that young men, which is what I coach, and women as well, want structure and want to know that you care about them.
That's true. I believe that.
That's not cool to say.
No, I mean,
That's gonna be maybe something that's because I can't see it on TikTok or Instagram or whatever. I tell my players this all the time. You don't need to worry about me when I'm criticizing you or I'm holding you accountable. That's my job. My playing days are over. I'm here to evaluate and hold you accountable with your academics, which we just won the President's Award for the highest team GPA.
oh yeah,
On the men's side, we're number 1 this year, and I'm proud of that.
that's awesome.
When you have to worry about me as a person or a coach is when I don't tell you anything, and I just let you do whatever you want to do.
I like that, and that because I'm actually
Well,
the same.
no,
I'm the same way. Like with my guys and my people. Honestly, we just had some things going on in this past couple weeks where I kind of had to get on my team's ass. I had to be like, hey guys, what's going on? What do we need to do to move forward? How can we make these things better? Like, what can we do or whatever? And I'm telling them this because like I'm being real with them. Like, look, at the end of the day, y'all my employees, and like I have a boss relationship with them. I know that they talking shit behind my back whenever I'm out of the office, right? It
just like
happens.
my players
Yeah,
do.
exactly.
Right,
You know what it is. You know the stigma. But at the end of the day, I truly do care about my employees, and I'd rather have a conversation of me, hey, dude, what the hell's going on? Get your shit right, do what you need to do. Let me bitch at you because I don't want to have the conversation where I have to bring them into my office and say, hey man, we can't afford you no more because this client dropped us because you wasn't getting the work that we needed to get done.
So
That's the last thing I want to do. And that's what I'm trying to make these kids understand is, and I say kids, these all my employees, they are younger. They all
right.
they I prided myself. I was a kid till I was 26 technically. I still think that.
Right.
Now I'm a man. I consider
Now you're
myself
a
a
big
man.
kid. No,
But
I'm
I'm a big kid, right? But I'm a man somewhat, right? But like, I don't want to be a man, dude. Nobody cares about you whenever the only person who's saving you is you.
Right.
If you're not waking up and doing like you're saying and going out there and getting it and going out there and grinding, then nobody's coming to save you. Nobody,
Well, they'll get you, but when they get you, it's because you're being let go. Meaning, if I don't do the things that I need to do and take care of it the way that I take care of it, they're going to let me know, but it's probably not going to be a warning. It's going to be
right. Yeah. Well,
there's the door.
Yeah.
And what I try to do with the players is they're not with their parents. They're with me more than their parents because they're here.
True.
They're
That's
here on
true.
campus where we play both semesters or whatever.
Well, you're another figure for you're another. I'm not gonna say like. I guess you could say father figure, but you're another role model in their life that's giving them some of that structure.
Well, I'm the person that they have to answer to,
Correct.
basically on a daily basis.
Correct.
So they need to do the things that I need them to do, and so far, my plan and how I do it, it works because I have people that are successful. We have a good team GPA. I've been fortunate to be able to work at a university for quite some time, and they've kept me around. So,
do you kind of keep that open relationship too with your players, where like, hey, if y'all are struggling with something, like, come to me and talk to me about it, or
I tell my players this: you can tell me anything, don't lie to me.
yeah,
that's good.
I don't care what you did.
Right.
Or what the issue is.
I went driving this past weekend and I got drunk and I hit a pole, coach. I was drunk and I left the bar.
Something happened.
It better be the truth.
Truth.
Because this is how small campuses work. And I've told them this before. A lot of times when I'm asking you a question, about what happened?
You know the answer to it already.
I already know what happened.
Right.
You know the answer already
Hey,
to it.
but look, I can relate to that because I do that with my guys. Look, I tell them, I said, listen, I may act like I don't, or y'all may think I don't know what's going on, but I
Right.
know everything that's
Well,
going on.
same with me kind of here too. I mean, there's been times where Austin, before I even moved into this building, Austin called me and was like, yo, this is what your guy did. And I don't know if this was like supposed to happen because like you don't roll like that usually. Like he was just like, make sure you know, is that right or whatever? And I
Right,
was like,
right.
you remember that you did that to me before? And I was
Mhm.
like, yeah, actually, I'm gonna get on that dude's butt. Like, let me figure that out. So like,
Right.
Well, like, look, it's all about, like you said, it's building that relationship with your employees and kind of building. They, like you said, they do want to know you care.
They're going to have to, okay, so whether they're working for you, my players,
Right.
pro golf works out fine. 99% of the time it doesn't.
right,
They're working for you or they're working for you. They're going to be able to function because of the way that I ran the team, my
Correct.
team, with
Correct.
me. You're accountable. This is what's expected. This is what I need you to do. And I tell them this all the time. Look, if you don't want to work within the things I tell you to do, that's fine. That's what's great about this country. You can do whatever you want to do, but you don't have to be on my team.
mm-hmm.
That's true.
You don't have to be on my team.
That's true.
And that's why I pride myself in having players that stick it out for 4 years with me, and I go to bat for them. Because once they're done and they graduate, I flip the switch. There's no more me telling you.
It's you helping them.
I'm helping.
yeah,
Right.
You did your job. You stuck it out. You made it. You put up with me. You did all the stuff that maybe you didn't want to do at that time or that day or whatever it was. Now that you're done, let me help you.
Well, that shows something too, though, because I like a lot of people don't understand and like why a lot of these corporations and all ask for like a college degree. At the end of the day, a college degree too, just from looking at it on another point of view, is just to show did this person show up for 4 years and do what they needed to do to get done,
Yep.
and did they succeed in it?
Yep.
Because that's what that really shows. You know,
Yes.
that's like at
Yes.
the end of the day,
And you combine that with athletics.
then being able to keep everything.
That's something else because I could, the players that I've had throughout the years, I mean, I can tell you with employers, okay, when they leave me, they can function. They can go to work for you, and they may have to learn more about the job, okay? I'm not saying that.
Right.
But as far as
They can do both.
being on time and doing what you tell them to do and paying attention and being respectful, productive members of
They
society,
can do that.
they can do that.
Right.
And I hate to say, not everyone that age can do that.
No, that's true.
Unfortunately.
No, I mean, look,
Unfortunately.
it takes all type of people to make the world go round, and
Yes.
I learned that from a very young age from my mom. You know, she always told me that because I would, we came from a nicer place. You know, we didn't out of Piapart and stuff, and I was introduced to some crazier things later on in life. And my mom, like we talked and stuff, and like my mom was just like, remember, like, it takes all kind of people to make the world go round, and it's just where will you fit in that place, right? Where are you gonna end up, right?
Well, and I don't want to sound like I have everything figured
No,
out.
no,
No.
Yeah,
Because I don't.
right,
I learn every day, just like I'm learning being here with you two guys.
right,
okay?
right.
But what I can tell you is I have a belief in what young people need to do. And I do believe, number one, you can only consume so much information on this phone each
Mhm.
day. I mean, at some point, it'll drive you crazy.
Start getting dizzy. You start getting don't even want to read the words on the phone no more.
Okay, because you see this, you see that. Okay, whatever. So put that down for a bit. Look at it for 30 minutes, for whatever. But have limits on that, just like you have limits in everything else. And
Mm-hmm.
then work on your craft. And then if it's golf, if it's softball, if it's football, if you're a nursing student and you're having to work an extra job so you can go to nursing school, that's a service you're serving others.
Right.
I'm proud of my two boys, but I'm concerned sometimes about the direction that maybe the youth is going. And what you mentioned earlier about your kids and the chickens
we need more of that.
and selling and earning their own money,
Yeah.
Dude.
man, your children will never forget that.
No.
Mm-mm.
And you know what's crazy? And the reason and kind of go a little backstory. I grew up doing some of those things, and like we talked about, you often see these kids nowadays
Playing Xbox.
growing up and like basically not really zombies, but zombie. I mean,
No,
they're
yeah,
zombies
they
to the
are.
technology,
Exactly.
to the
Zombie-
point of where I hate to say it, but we're Americans, and look, other countries are laughing at us
They are.
because we look like idiots because we're just glued to these phones, glued to this. I mean, look, you see somebody texting and not even paying attention where they're walking. Look, people are looking at our country like, damn, we are passing the U.S. up because we can't even have functioning people because they're glued to just phones and games and all this other stuff.
And just looking at the three of us, okay, different ages, different career paths,
Right.
okay, but the only way that any of us have been able to achieve what we've done, if it's me doing my deal with golf, you with your media, you with helping with this and supporting this, but your other businesses,
Right.
is because of our work ethic.
That's true.
Because we get up and do it,
Yep.
and that's what people need to learn.
And some people don't understand. So like, my main thing that I did was start off was with marketing. And whenever I started my marketing company, I was working till 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. I didn't go to bed sometimes.
Right.
Couldn't. I had to be up. I had to work on this client's project till whatever. I was lone wolf marketing. You know, I was a lone wolf. I was work on this project and get this done for this client, and then Austin might have had a job that he had to be at in Ashland for 7 a.m. So then I gotta have a camera and a drone ready for that time. Get out there, video for him. You know what I mean? So it's gotten a lot better now that I was able to build a team and successfully do that. And we taking it step by step. And definitely, look, I go through my growing pains. Right, we have them. Austin helps me with them a lot. Like we talk. Like you said, I like how you said that earlier too about building relationships with people, and it's not only being about whenever you need something or a favor or anything.
Yep.
Look, I was this dude how much I call him, and then what it's about, I'll literally just call this dude and he even talks about it too. Like he don't have friends, like he don't keep a lot of friends. I don't keep a lot of friends. Just to be honest with you, I have a very small circle of people that I would count on and go to,
right?
Because at the end of the day, there's only so many people that's kind of like us. And even I would put you in the same category as us, just how you've been speaking. There's not a lot of people that don't have ulterior motives, that's not out there just to help. You know what I mean? And you do find your good people. You do that. There's just as many good people out there as there are bad people, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And you just got to find them, and you need to find your circle and find what fits right with you.
Well, look, you know what kind of made me think about that thing you just said a little while ago about gaining the respect of your team. And kind of the same thing with me. Like it got told to me the other day, because every now and then I like to check up with my guys. I'm like, hey, what you think about this place? How am I doing as a leader or whatever? He's like, look, honestly, it's the best place I ever worked for. And I'm like, okay, well, can you elaborate on that a little bit? Because I mean, anybody, look,
right.
I don't want them just to say that because I'm asking them that.
And they're blowing smoke.
Yeah.
Right. So they're like, no, honestly, like, look, I can call any one of my guys. It don't matter if it's 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. They're gonna come. And I said, well, why would you do that for me? And they said, you know what? Because you're out here every day busting your ass with us.
Right.
Like I'm on the jobs with them. So it's not like they don't just see me sitting in the office saying, hey, go make me some money. That's not the way I look at it.
Exactly.
I treat them like, hey, I'm here sweating with you.
Right.
Well,
So
he's also doing other
so when
stuff,
you got
too.
something going on, hey, I want to be there. Look, like when the hurricane happened, all the guys we shut down a whole day, a couple days. I didn't start back working. We didn't get doing customer stuff until we made sure everybody on this team's house was secured. So we went to house.
I didn't know you did all
Oh
that.
yeah. Listen, I told him. I said, listen, first priority when we get to this
Why you
shop.
didn't come to my house?
Well, I didn't know you at the
That's
time. No, but crazy. Like, look, real stuff. Like, we had all the equipment, and everything. We went and get supplies. I said, listen, first thing before we get started, and then we're gonna make sure everybody's roof secured. Everybody's, whatever they got going on at home. We went to house.
This is for Ida or Francine?
For Ida.
So, and I hate to bring my close friends get tired of this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. People don't understand how bad it was here for Ida.
That was
Oh,
terrible.
it was
Disaster.
terrible.
Looked like honestly a bomb went off.
It
Is
was,
what
I mean, I can tell you, I wound up staying. Never again.
Mm-mm.
look,
Never
and you know what's
again.
crazy?
I made a lot of money off of Ida, so I can't
I'll say-
complain.
look, I'll say-
Right.
I'll say, look,
that's actually
I would
where
say
this
it was,
came from.
look, it was crazy. It was terrible. But look, I got too much going on around to leave. So look, and what's crazy, what I mean by that is like we're one of the first ones that need to be lifting stuff and doing
Well,
things.
no, yeah, with you, yeah, but
And so-
but people don't. People that weren't in this area,
Oh, it was terrible.
So I live in the Bayou Cane area. So
Y'all was getting whipped out there.
you come out on West Park or Main, you couldn't. Your mirror was almost hitting the telephone poles that were
Correct.
piled up on the side of the. And it wasn't like they were just late. They were down.
Down. You had complete houses completely going completely.
We didn't have power.
3 weeks or 4 weeks, was it? A month. It was
A
a month.
day over a month.
Yeah, day over a month. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, me and my
Where
dad
I
we got a call. Like, look, people were putting on Facebook that these people were trapped in a house that collapsed. Down from my parents' house.
What?
Me and my dad got in the truck with chainsaws, went through the storm. We couldn't make it to them. Okay, that's how bad it was.
Yeah, it was.
We couldn't even get to the house. We were probably about
And how they knew that people were trapped? Like nobody else.
so
was in
on
the area?
Facebook. So
Yeah, but
listen.
nobody else was in the area. That
Well,
could-
no, because the storm was in the midst of the storm.
The crazy thing was, it's in the shout out, but I had Verizon. My cellular worked the whole time,
Mhm.
and then it only went down when the storm was past.
Yeah, because now everybody's trying to contact everybody.
Well,
and
look.
get every,
So
you
that's
know.
how they got.
But I
Yeah.
had
So
it, yeah,
well,
but
they
I had
messaged. They were on Facebook. So
Oh,
they put their
right.
number on Facebook, and
Okay.
I said, Dad, look at this. So I called the number. I'm like, hey, man, when I tell you, I still hear the lady's voice and the girl. She was screaming, crying. I don't know what to do. Can y'all come get us? Like, yeah, we're coming. So me and Dad got in the truck. We got with Chase. Listen, we tried to make it, couldn't make it, dude.
And
So she finally calls me back. She's like, look, we were able to squeeze out the house. We're sitting in the car. I said, well, listen, just stay put. We're coming after. And we couldn't make it till after. We had to get.
And it was crazy too because for Francine that we had last year, Thibodeau got hit worse. Because so after
That's just from the backside of it. or
right.
whatever, yeah.
But comparing it to Ida, what I'm saying is Terrebonne got destroyed.
Oh, yeah.
Thibodeau got very little because of the way the storm turned.
Correct.
And it was just people don't understand your 12 miles, whatever it is, but it was totally. I mean, Thibodeau had power in 2 days.
Yeah.
And here we are in Terrebonne. It was for me a day over a month.
Yep.
It was just anyway. Not to go back to that, but it was doing what you did for your employees. Again, that's more team building and more stuff. That's why those guys feel about you and want to work for your company.
Well, look, just to be honest, too, another one, and he invited all of us to it, and I was pumped up for it. He didn't ask me for a fucking dollar. Oh, sorry, excuse me.
You can bleep that
He
out.
didn't ask me, yeah, bleep that out. But he didn't ask me for $1. But like, hey, we have family day going on for Axis and Patriot. Lone Wolf's out there. AWAS and Marsh Media. Tell all the team they be over there. We balling crawfish. We playing baseball. We doing all this stuff. So I mean, hell yeah,
So how many employees do you have with Patriot with your main company?
So with Patriot, we have
Well,
about
Patriot's not even his main. I wouldn't.
Well,
you
they're
call
both.
that-
Yeah,
I
well,
would
they're
call
both. They're about the
main-
same.
They both
Yeah,
main companies now.
yeah, they both main. But
Yeah.
it's between the two, about 42 employees.
Okay. So yeah.
Yeah, he's got a lot going on. You see,
lot
I
going on.
only got 10. I'm
Right.
I'm good with what I got.
Right.
But I don't want to take on not too many more right now. Actually, we got 11 now. We just hired on another little chick that is coming to help us do some payroll stuff and things like that. So
Nice. Well, cool.
yeah. No. Is there anything else that you wanted to ask him? But basically about, I guess the golf scene in Nicholls?
Well, I mean, I know we touched upon it a little bit, but how is the enrollment as far as like golfers? Like, how many of y'all have on y'all team right now?
Right. So this year we had 12
Okay.
guys, and one of the things that I do that's a benefit to the area. We have a big college tournament that we have every year in October, and that brings in. Last year we had LSU. We had a lot of in-state schools, some conference schools as well. So you're bringing in 60, 70 golfers, and they're here for 3-4 days. So they're in your hotels.
Mhm.
They're eating in your restaurants. And
Absolutely.
that's something that people don't always. They think about a football game because you're selling tickets,
Mhm.
or a basketball game or a baseball game. They don't always think about what the Olympic sports, which we call golf, tennis, track, whatever, what those can bring too.
Right.
And is it more work for me? Absolutely. But it's also a way to show our value and what we can bring to the area.
Right.
As well. So that's something that we do as
And
well.
kind of another thing, because I feel like, I mean, obviously, any college that you talk about sports and what everybody focuses, and you probably know where I'm going with. Everybody focuses on the football aspect, okay, because that's like one of their bigger sports. But to me, I don't like to categorize it like that, because look, you got your softball, your golf. Is there the same amount of like
Funding? And no, there's not. It's not. And
well, I would say not funding, but I'm talking about like incentives as far as like like I know with academics they'll give you like some scholarship opportunities. This golf, maybe that kind of
well, Nicholls, isn't it kind of split up? Like the football has their own program, and then the softball or baseball have their own.
What I can say to you, without a doubt, is the university president that we have right now, Dr. Clune, is supportive of not only my golf program, but the other sports that you may view as, or the public may view as, smaller Olympic sports or whatever.
Like even swimming and stuff like that, right?
Tennis, track, golf. He's been extremely supportive of those.
See, that's good.
Because he doesn't have to have them.
Right.
He's trying to provide an avenue for not just people that want to play basketball or baseball or football. He's trying to provide opportunities for all people, and that golf is still extremely popular.
Oh, absolutely.
Golf. Wait. No, you don't even got, golf is probably the most popular sport in the world.
So,
am I wrong for that?
So, whether you have salesmen that work for you or for you.
Well, obviously soccer is. I'm sorry,
Right, soccer.
but like golf is up there,
Right.
and especially since COVID hit, that was
golf is up there.
Golf,
because golf's global. Golf is global.
You got your Dubai League now. You got your PGA.
And I'm not being rude about this, but this is a fact. If you have salesmen or you have salesmen, you can't keep playing football, but you can play golf.
Well, and that's kind of why I brought this up. I kind of knew what direction you were going to go.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what the answer I was looking for, because look, I could have played, when I was younger, I played little football stuff, but I'm not cut out. Listen, I couldn't be cut out to play football. Well, no, that's what I'm saying. But golf, anybody can listen. If you practice it, what?
I said you got your boy Robert out there playing golf with some clients.
Well, no, I mean, every now and then.
Well, that also was actually on a golf course yesterday.
Yeah. For Monday.
Or he's sponsoring teams in these fundraisers. Or these tournaments,
exactly.
But that's what he was doing.
We just had the sheriff's golf tournament.
Sheriff Tim Song.
So we were out there all day Monday.
You see, so we haven't met each other, and we're talking about the same thing.
Correct.
Through golf.
Correct. See,
there.
Were you not there?
What's that?
You weren't there for that?
I was at not Sheriff Sonia's. I was at Craig Weber's, but that was at
Latour.
He
had his.
Okay.
Yeah,
Latour.
correct. Yeah,
right. And then we had the DA's tournament not that long ago either.
Correct.
Christine Russell was just at Latour.
Yep, correct.
Okay.
Correct, yeah.
So you're getting all these invitations to whether you're going, but it's all what happens at these golf tournaments. You're networking.
Exactly. That's what it's about.
You're doing business.
Listen, you're not really network. Look, I mean, you're playing football, but you're not networking playing football.
No.
You're going to network playing these sports.
When you're on the golf course like that, you're out there for 4 or 5 hours, and you're talking business. Okay, and that's what goes on, and that's why golf is still so popular.
Yep. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. That's it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, my guys are kind of telling me right now in the studio that we got to wrap it up. We're getting on at a time. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about that we didn't hit or that we didn't miss?
I want to thank both of you for having me here.
Oh, you don't even have to.
You don't have to thank us, man. And for giving me a platform to talk about the university, talk about my team, talk about the good things that we have going on at the university and with my team. And I wish you guys nothing but the best. And I'm gonna, I want to repeat this to both of you. It's fantastic being around young people that have passion, and both of you guys have that. So thank you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And look, y'all can. Does Nicholls Golf have a
Their own
page,
page?
like that we can shout them out? That we can like have people to go and see y'all.
We do. We're at GoKolonels.com, and then you just click on men's golf. GoKolonels.com.
GoKolonels.com.
And is there any upcoming event that you want to shout out to maybe bring people to?
We don't because we're wrapping up.
But you said the next tournament was in October.
Our home tournament, our next one will be in October 19, 2021.
All right, so remember that,
October
guys.
19,
October
2021.
If y'all into some golf, y'all want to see some Nicholls players, and y'all want to come and support,
We'll be right there at Latour.
Oh yeah, I mean, I will. I mean, we have to be at that. We're gonna be at that one.
Right,
But
right.
look, y'all come check it out.
Well,
It'll be a fun time.
fantastic. Thank you, guys. I appreciate your time.
Yep.
We appreciate
Thank you.
yours.
Thanks so much.